everyone, welcome back to Extra Rise English Podcast, the show that helps you level up your English one real conversation at a time. I am Mia.
And I am Leo. So glad you're here.
Okay, so today we're talking about something that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Because if there's one situation that makes even confident English speakers nervous, it is the job interview.
The job interview. The one conversation where everything feels like it is on the line.
Right, and here's the thing. Most people prepare for job interviews by memorizing answers. They look up the most common questions, they write out perfect responses, they rehearse them in front of a mirror, and then they walk into the interview and the interviewer asks something slightly different from what they prepared, and everything falls apart.
Because they memorized words instead of building structures.
Exactly. And today, we're not going to give you a list of perfect answers to memorize. We're going to give you something much more useful. We're going to teach you how to think in English under pressure, specifically in a job interview, so that no matter what they ask you, you always have something real and confident to say.
3 things specifically: how to talk about yourself, how to talk about your strengths, and how to handle questions you do not know the answer to.
That last one is so important and nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it, but it happens in every single interview.
Okay, let's get into it. This is segment 1, the problem with memorizing. Mia, explain why memorizing answers is actually the wrong strategy, because I think a lot of people listening right now are doing exactly that.
Right. So here's the problem. When you memorize an answer word for word, you're storing it in a very specific way in your brain. It's stored as a sequence: word 1, word 2, word 3, and as long as the conversation goes exactly the way you rehearsed it, you're fine. But the moment something unexpected happens, the interviewer interrupts you, asks a follow-up, phrases a question slightly differently, your brain loses the thread, and instead of adapting, it just freezes. Because you were following a script and the script does not have that page.
Oh, wow. That is such a good explanation because that's exactly what happens. It's like the script breaks and then there's just nothing.
Right. And then you panic, and the panic makes it worse. We talked about this spiral in our first episode, and it shows up in interviews too. But here's the alternative. Instead of memorizing answers, you build frameworks. A framework is a structure, a shape that your answer fits into. You don't memorize the words, you memorize the shape. And then you fill in the shape with your own real experience in the moment.
Okay, that is a completely different approach, and it sounds so much less stressful.
It is so much less stressful because you're not trying to remember a specific sentence. You're just following a shape you already know. And shapes don't disappear under pressure the way memorized words do.
Okay, I love this. So what are the shapes? What are the frameworks for the most common interview situations?
Let's go through them one by one. The first one, and this is the one every interview starts with, is tell me about yourself. Most people either give way too much information or way too little. They either ramble for 3 minutes about their whole life story, or they say, I'm a hard worker and I like challenges, and then stop.
Both of which I have done at various points in my career.
Same. So the framework for tell me about yourself is this: present, past, future. 3 beats. You start with where you are now, your current role or situation, then you go to what brought you here, the relevant experience or skills from your past. Then you land on why you're here today, what you're looking for, and why this specific opportunity matters to you.
Present, past, future. That's so clean.
And it works because it tells a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And humans, including interviewers, are wired to follow stories. When your answer has a clear arc, it's easier to listen to, easier to remember, and it makes you sound like someone who knows exactly where they are going.
Okay, let me try it. So right now I'm working in customer service at an international company, mostly handling English-speaking clients. Before that, I spent 2 years in admin support, which is where I really started building my communication skills. And I'm here today because I want to take those skills into a role that's more focused on relationship management. And from everything I've read about your company, this position feels like exactly the right next step.
That's really good. Present,
customer service, international clients; past, admin support, communication skills; future, relationship management, this specific role. 3 beats, clear arc, strong close.
And it didn't feel memorized because I was just following the shape.
Exactly, that's the difference. Okay, framework number 2, talking about your strengths. Most people answer this question with one word. I'm organized, I'm a team player, I'm hardworking. And those answers land completely flat because they mean nothing without evidence.
Right. Everyone says they're hardworking.
Everyone says they're hardworking. So the framework here is claim, evidence, result. 3 beats again. You state the strength, the claim, you give a specific example of a time you used it, the evidence, and you tell them what happened because of it, the result.
So it's not just saying I'm organized, it's proving it.
Exactly. So instead of I'm very organized, you say something like, I would say one of my real strengths is staying organized under pressure. In my last role, I was managing 3 different client accounts at the same time during our busiest season. I built a tracking system that helped my whole team stay on top of deadlines, and we ended up delivering all 3 projects on time with 0 complaints from the clients.
Okay, that answer is so much stronger. And it's not because the words are fancier, it's because it's specific, it's real, you can picture it.
And specificity is what makes people trust you. Anyone can say a word, not everyone can back it up with a real story.
Right. Claim, evidence, result. Okay, I want to try this one too. I think one of my strongest skills is staying calm when things get difficult. Last year, we had a really complicated situation with a client who was unhappy with our service. Instead of escalating it, I sat with them directly, listened to every concern, and worked out a solution that kept them with us. They actually sent a thank you note to my manager.
Perfect. Claim, staying calm under pressure; evidence, difficult client situation, direct conversation; result, kept the client, positive feedback. 3 beats, real story, strong ending.
It honestly feels more natural than I expected. Okay, framework number 3, and this is the one nobody prepares for. What do you do when they ask you something you genuinely don't know how to answer?
Yes, this one is so important because it will happen. Maybe they ask you about a specific skill you don't have. Maybe they ask a technical question that's outside your experience. Maybe they just ask something you weren't expecting and your brain goes blank.
And most people in that moment either make something up, which usually backfires, or they say, I don't know, and go silent, which feels terrible.
Right. And there's a third option that almost no one uses. You bridge. You acknowledge what you don't know and immediately connect it to something you do know. You don't pretend, you don't go silent, you build a bridge.
Okay, what does that sound like?
So let's say they ask you about a software program you've never used. Instead of saying, I don't know that program, you say, I haven't worked with that specific tool yet, but I have used similar platforms and I tend to pick up new systems pretty quickly. I was fully up to speed on our last platform within the first 2 weeks.
Oh, that's so good, because it's honest, you're not pretending, but it immediately shows them you're capable and you're not going to be a problem to train.
Exactly. You acknowledge the gap and then you close it with evidence. That's the bridge. And it works for any kind of unexpected question. I haven't done exactly that, but here's something related that I have done. Or, that's a great question and I want to give you an honest answer. Here's how I would approach it.
That second one is interesting. That's a great question, and I want to give you an honest answer. Does that actually work in an interview? Does it sound a little like stalling?
It's not stalling if you follow it immediately with something real. What it does is signal to the interviewer that you're thoughtful, that you don't just say the first thing that comes to mind, that you actually consider your answers. Most interviewers respect that a lot more than a fast answer that's clearly rehearsed.
Okay, pause. If these 3 frameworks just changed how you think about job interviews, present, past, future, claim, evidence, result, acknowledge, bridge, evidence, this is the kind of practical English we bring you every single week. If you're not subscribed yet, hit subscribe right now. You don't want to miss what's coming next.
Okay, that brings us into the key phrases section.
3 phrases from today, all of them usable immediately. Leo, take us through the first one.
Phrase number 1, follow the shape, or following a structure. This came from our conversation about frameworks versus memorized answers. To follow a shape or follow a structure means to use a template or a pattern as your guide instead of trying to invent everything from scratch.
Right, and this phrase is useful beyond interviews. Like, I don't always know what to say in difficult conversations, but when I follow a clear structure, it feels so much easier. Or, the presentation went well because we followed a strong structure from the beginning.
It signals that you are organized and intentional, that you do not just wing things, you have a method. And in professional settings, that's a very good impression to make.
Okay, phrase number 2, back it up. As in, back up a claim with evidence. Leo used this when he talked about the difference between saying I'm organized and actually proving it.
Right. To back something up means to support it with evidence, facts, or examples. It's everywhere in professional English. You can back up an argument, back up a decision, back up a claim. The opposite, saying something without any support, is sometimes called an empty claim.
So in an interview, do not make empty claims. Back everything up.
Exactly. And outside of interviews, I need you to back that up with some data before we present this to the team. Or, your idea sounds good, but can you back it up with some examples from the industry?
It's such a useful phrase because it works in writing, in meetings, in presentations, anywhere you are making a point and need to show your evidence.
Which is basically everywhere in professional life.
Everywhere. Okay, phrase number 3. Build a bridge. This one came from the section on handling questions you don't know. To build a bridge means to connect two things that are not obviously connected, or in this case, to connect what you don't know to what you do know.
Right. And as a general phrase, it's incredibly versatile. You can build a bridge between two different ideas in a presentation. You can build a bridge between your current skills and a new role you're applying for. You can build a bridge between what a client wants and what your company can actually deliver.
It's a phrase that makes you sound like a problem solver, like someone who doesn't just see gaps, they see connections.
Which is exactly how you want to come across in any professional setting. Okay, listeners, 3 phrases. Follow the shape, back it up, build a bridge. Say them out loud right now. Pause and say them. That's your first practice.
All right, segment 3, the drill. 3 scenarios, 3 responses, all of them out loud. You know what to do. Leo, ready?
Ready.
Okay, scenario 1. You're in a job interview and the interviewer says, "So tell me about yourself." You have 30 seconds. Use the present, past, future framework.
Sure. Right now, I'm working as a customer service team lead at an e-commerce company managing a team of 6. Before that, I spent 3 years in frontline customer service, which is where I really learned how to handle pressure and communicate clearly with people from different backgrounds. I'm here today because I want to move into a role where I can use those communication skills at a higher level. And from everything I've read about your company, this position feels like exactly where I've been building toward.
Perfect. Present, team lead, e-commerce. Past, frontline experience, communication skills. Future, higher level role, this specific company. And notice how he ended, exactly where I've been building toward. We learned that phrase last time and he used it again here. That's how phrases become yours. You keep using them until they're automatic.
That's exactly the goal. Repetition across episodes, repetition across real situations. That's how fluency actually happens.
Okay, scenario 2. The interviewer asks, what would you say is your greatest strength? Use the claim, evidence, result framework.
I would say my greatest strength is staying calm and clear when things get complicated. Earlier this year, our team had a product launch that went wrong on the first day. The system crashed right when we went live, and we had hundreds of frustrated customers coming in at the same time. Instead of panicking, I pulled the team together, split up the cases, and wrote a short script everyone could use to manage the situation consistently. We cleared the backlog within 4 hours and got positive feedback from customers who said we handled it well.
Oh, that was so strong. Claim, staying calm when things get complicated. Evidence, product launch crisis, specific details, real actions. Result, cleared in 4 hours, positive customer feedback. And it sounded like a real story, not a rehearsed answer.
Because I was following a shape, not reciting words. The shape stays, the words adapt.
That's such a good line. The shape stays, the words adapt. Okay, last one. Scenario 3. This is the tough one. The interviewer asks you about project management software, specifically a tool you've never used. What do you say?
I would say, I haven't worked with that specific tool yet, but I'm very familiar with similar platforms. I've used 2 or 3 in different roles, and I tend to get comfortable with new systems pretty fast. In my last position, I was using a new platform I had never seen before, and I was fully up to speed within the first 2 weeks. I would be really confident doing the same here.
Did everyone catch what he did there? He built a bridge. He acknowledged the gap honestly, I haven't used that specific tool, and then immediately he connected it to something real. I've used similar platforms, I learn fast, here's the proof. He didn't pretend, he didn't go silent, he built a bridge.
And the key word is specific. I gave a specific time frame, 2 weeks. Not just I learn fast. I learn fast, and here's the proof. Specific details are what make the bridge solid.
Right. A vague bridge doesn't hold. A specific bridge holds. Okay, listeners, go back and say those 3 responses out loud. All 3. Present, past, future for tell me about yourself, claim, evidence, result for your strength, and bridge for the question you don't know. Say them out loud until the shapes feel natural. Not the exact words, the shapes. All right, wrapping up. Here's your one thing from today. Stop memorizing answers for job interviews. Start learning shapes. Present, past, future for your story. Claim, evidence, result for your strengths. Acknowledge, bridge, evidence for the questions you don't know. 3 shapes. They work for every question. They work under pressure. They sound like you because you fill them in with your own real experience. That's how you walk into an interview and feel ready for anything.
And your assignment for this week, write out your own answer to tell me about yourself using the present, past, future framework. Write it down, say it out loud. Time yourself, aim for about 60 seconds. Then try your strength answer using claim, evidence, result. Drop them in the comments if you want feedback. We read every single one.
We genuinely do. And if this episode gave you something useful, something you're going to carry with you this week, share it with someone who has a job interview coming up. They'll thank you for it, not because it helps us, because that person needs exactly this right now. Be the one who sends it to them.
And if you want more of this every single week, subscribe. We'll be here.
All right. Thank you so much for being here on Extra Rise English Podcast. And remember,
because one serving of English is never enough.
see you in the next episode.